Good morning, everyone. Happy Red Friday. I want to speak directly to our veteran community about something that comes up occasionally in cannabis medicine, and it's called Cannabis Hyperemesis Syndrome, or CHS for short. There's a lot of fear and misinformation around this topic, so the goal here is education, clarity, and reassurance, not panic. Cannabis Hyperemesis Syndrome is a condition where a small percentage of long-term, heavy cannabis users experience repeated nausea, vomiting, and abdominal discomfort. It is very important to say this clearly. CHS is rare, and it does not affect the vast majority of people who use cannabis, especially those using it intentionally and medically. I also want to address a common concern head-on. You cannot fatally overdose on cannabis. Cannabis Hyperemesis Syndrome is uncomfortable and disruptive, but it is not life-threatening and it is not a toxic overdose. The leading medical understanding of CHS is that it involves overstimulation of cannabinoid receptors, particularly CB1 receptors in the brain and the gut, over long periods of time. Instead of producing symptom relief, those receptors begin sending the opposite signal. This is a regulation issue, not permanent damage. Tolerance to cannabis goes up and down depending on how much and how often cannabis is used. With frequent or high-dose use, receptors downregulate. When use is reduced or paused, those receptors are capable of resetting back towards baseline. This ability to recalibrate is exactly why Cannabis Hyperemesis Syndrome is reversible. For many medical patients, including veterans, completely stopping cannabis may not be realistic or appropriate. The good news is that full abstinence is not always required. In many cases, reducing overall consumption, lowering THC exposure, changing product types, and taking regular tolerance breaks is enough to allow receptors to recover and symptoms to resolve. Physicians experienced in cannabis medicine, including Dr. Bonnie Goldstein, consistently emphasize that CHS is about dose, frequency, and cumulative exposure, not cannabis being inherently harmful. In many cases, patients are able to return to cannabis later at a much lower, more therapeutic dose without the syndrome returning. The takeaway is simple. Cannabis works best when it is used intentionally and at the lowest effective dose, and with respect to how the body adapts over time. If someone experiences ongoing nausea or vomiting and uses cannabis regularly, that is a signal to reassess and adjust, not to panic. Education, balance, and self-awareness are what keep people safe. Have a great weekend, everyone. Together we heal.